Hey everybody, it's Steve Zahnd from the Zahnd Team Real Estate Advisors coming at you with another market update. So we're going to cover the November mid-month report. So we got 15 days worth of data in here. So what's going on with the current real estate market and where we're at. But before we dive into that, let's just check in on some macroeconomic factors here and see how that might affect what's going on in the real estate market. So if you're not sure, the United States just had their inflation readings come out and they actually beat expectations. Markets rallied. And that also is good for bond yields, put pressure on them to go down, which also affects the 5-year fixed mortgage rate product. Here in Canada, we had our inflation readings today, and actually I'll show you what's going on with them. I'll get my face out of the way here. We had our inflation ratings come in today, and at the peak we were at 8.1%. We dropped to 7.6% in July, hit 7% in August, went 6.9% last month of September. And what the economists were expecting at this month was that we were going to sit at an inflated rate that were going to be actually higher. They were projecting around 7.1, and we came in flat at 6.9%. So again, that's a beat on expectations. It's not an inflection down, which would have been preferred, but it's still staying flat. So markets didn't really rally, or they didn't really fall apart because of this. But it also did look like the 5-year bond yield saw that as good news. And the bond yields are being pushed down a little bit here. So what does that mean? Well, for bond yields, that essentially means that they really heavily tie into our 5-year fixed mortgage rates. And as you can see here, the effect hasn't been felt yet. So essentially the mortgage rates are still the same, but it looks like there's some leading indicators that should show that the mortgage rates could fall in the very near future on the fixed side of things, not on the variable. But right now, let's just jump into the market. So really that's all you need to know. Those are the biggest forces on the economy right now, because if inflation misses, the Bank of Canada is likely going to likely more aggressive on pushing interest rates up. And if we're meeting expectations or beating expectations, it's going to give them a little bit of a pause on being super aggressive on rate hikes. So what's expected in the next December Federal Bank of Canada meeting is that we're going to be probably seeing a 25 basis point rate hike increase versus a supersized 75 basis points or 50 basis point hike that we saw in the recent months. So if all things go positive, that's going to definitely ease the pressure on interest rate hikes, which will ease the pressure on real estate, which will ease the pressure on bond yields, which then ease the pressures on mortgage interest rates on the fixed. So the more that inflation goes down, and we're all doing that in terms of fixing the demand side of the equation. If the government also fixes the supply side of the equation, we can definitely start seeing some more loosening of that policy. So lots of good things to come at. So let's take a look at currently what's happening on the real estate market right now, and I'll dive into that. So hopefully you found that valuable. All right. So kicking off, let's start with the interest rate trend here. As you can see, for a 5-year fixed, and this is for a high ratio mortgage. So if you have less than 20% down, these are the mortgage rates you'd qualify for. If you had 20% or above, you actually have a higher interest rate. So for uninsured mortgages, it's about 4.99% on the fixed, and on the variable, we're looking around 4.9%. And then if you have a conventional mortgage that's not insured, you're looking closer to 5.54% and 5.54% again for the variable. So they're almost the exact same. So this could be another strategy kind of call here, right? Like if we just went to 19% down or 18% down and we got the actual insured mortgage, is the cost savings higher if we go insured mortgage and pay the CMHC premium, or is it beneficial just to pay out the higher interest rate because the cost of the CMHC insurance would technically wipe out any interest rate savings? So the reason that insured mortgages are usually lower is because they're trying to offset the costs associated with insurance mortgage. Mortgage insurance. So I hope that makes sense. And as you can see here, we ticked up a little bit here, but I'm hoping in the next time we get together here in 2 weeks that we'll see the fixed mortgage rate inflect down. Okay, so that's currently what's happening with the interest rates here. Let's currently see what's going on in the market in terms of units and mix and all that stuff in the market of Guelph especially. So currently we're sitting at 192 units on the market. That's right around our 5-year average. So we're right in alignment with our 5-year average right now. All the unit classes except for semis are in alignment with their 5-year averages. So the market has really found itself back to the normal amount of inventory that's usually on the market. So we are not overly excessive on the market like we were maybe 3 months ago, and we're not super suppressed in our inventory like we were at the beginning of the year. So this is just a cautionary tale here I like to talk about, if you get into the real estate market, when can you expect prices to go back up? Well, what I like to talk about here is right now, the federal government's using interest rates to kill demand. Essentially, the higher they push interest rates, the more they're going to slow down the real estate industry, and home prices are going to fall in relation to how aggressive they are in pushing interest rates higher. Okay, at some point that's going to stop in terms of interest rates going higher, and then we're going to find an equilibrium in the marketplace of like a more balanced marketplace. We're not going to see prices dropping as aggressively as they did over the last 4 months, 5 months. Okay, but now let's say the economy needs to be stimulated again because of the over tightening that's happened, and to avoid a recession or even worse, a depression, the government wants to say, hey, let's start stimulating the economy again. And one of the ways they can do that is by lowering interest rates, making access to money cheaper and making essentially money cheaper. And then that's going to encourage borrowing and all that fun stuff. So just like what happened back in the day, if the municipalities in our local areas don't fix the ability for us to build homes, if it's going to continue taking 4, 5, 6 years for us to build homes, Canada is actually one of the slowest countries in the world that issues building permits and allows building to happen. So if that doesn't get fixed and the interest rates start going down and the stimulation starts occurring again, if you're a buyer waiting for the market to recover, you're going to be in hot water really quick, because we're going to see a 2017, a 2022 happen all over again, where prices are going to skyrocket because money gets cheap, people want to buy, but there's no supply coming into the market that's new. So we're just continually recycling the existing market. And just look at what happened. Just look at what's happening right now. The buyer demand is absolutely getting crushed out. Interest rates are going up, but we're still at regular inventory levels, where you don't see a huge, massive supply of inventory that should happen in an environment like this. I think if we had more supply, house prices would be down even further based on this adjustment right now. So essentially, if they don't fix the supply side and they lower interest rates, we're going to see a huge flux back into the market, and then the homes are going to run out, they're going to dry out. And if you have cheap money and no supply, the only thing that can really affect is price. So hopefully that while this is all happening on this side here, that the government's looking at removing the red tape and the gatekeepers from the municipalities so we can actually start building homes. So if we do get lower interest rates again, we're not going to have that crazy rush, that gold rush to real estate again. That's going to drive prices uncontrollably out of control. I know I said uncontrolled there a lot, but I hope you know what I mean. I hope what I'm saying is valuable to you and you can kind of understand where I'm trying to track with this. Okay, so getting back on track here. Sorry about that. Here we go. So the inventory levels are all pretty much the same. And actually we can see that we're actually just slightly below our 5-year average. So we're already starting to get into a supply, into less supply than we usually have at the 5-year rate. And if this keeps falling, soon we're going to get to lower inventory levels again. We all know what happens when that happens. Okay, so let's take a look what's happening on the inflow side. So how much supply is coming into the market? Well, we have about 5.7 homes coming to the market every single day in November, and that's pretty much right in alignment with our 5-year averages. So on the supply side, a healthy amount of homes is coming through. We're not seeing a huge decrease or increase in supply. It's right around the averages. Okay, how about the outflow? On the outflow side, we are not seeing a great amount of outflow. So we've only seen 48 homes sell this month, which is only 3.2 homes a day. And typically on our 5-year average, we're selling about 5.8 homes a day. So the amount of units sold is down 44.5%. Take this with a grain of salt. It's only halfway through the month. The second half of the month could tell a totally different story. But for right now, what it looks like mid-month report is that home selling has dramatically come to a halt, and we're only selling 3.2 homes a day. On the failed sales, how many homes are failing to sell? Pretty crazy, actually. 3.8 homes are failing to sell a day. So that means they're expired, they're suspended, or they're canceled. So they decided to put their listing on hold as a suspension. They decided to cancel their listing. They don't want to sell anymore, or their listing just flat out expired and they didn't renew their listing. So 3.8 homes falling off the market every single day. Okay, so just to put that in perspective, never in our history that I've been tracking the market for 10 years, never has expired homes or failed to sell homes exceeded the amount of actual homes sold. And now it's happened 3 times, and it's happened every time this year. So it's a pretty unique scenario where the market's really just trying to find itself. And like, we got these fake sellers that are still trying to get outrageous prices. I just saw a townhouse go up for sale for 1.1 million. That's probably worth 900,000. It's pretty interesting that people are still trying to get these prices that we weren't getting for months now. So I call these people fake sellers. There's no way that these prices are going to happen. So they're the ones that are just falling off the market, and the ones that are serious are staying on the market. And obviously those are the ones that are being absorbed, which is the 48 sales. Okay, so high level overview: inflow is steady, outflow is not steady. We don't have the unit sales, and the failed sales are elevated. Okay, so putting this all together, looking at the days on market for the month of November, it's only 15 days again yet, but still it looks like 36 days on market it took for those homes that sold in November. That's how long they were sitting on the market. So for those 48 homes that sold, on average, they were on the market for 36 days. On a quarterly basis, if we look at it on a quarterly scale, it looks like for Q4, the homes staying on the market is around 30. So there's a lot more data here. So yeah, we're about 30 to 35 days on market on average. And quarter over quarter change, as you can see, first quarter, we only had 7 days on market, 12 days, 26 days, and now 30. So dramatic increase in days on market since the government started raising rates on us to fight inflation. Okay. Sold listing, on the sold listing side, on the list price to sale price ratio. So we kind of found our bottom of the market here at 93.6%, and that was back in August. And now we're kind of sitting around 94.5, so 95%, which is pretty much in alignment with the stabilization in the marketplace. So right now, unit sales aren't happening, but we're still getting a relatively stable list price to sale price ratio. And on a quarterly basis, the list price to sale price ratio is also sitting around 96%. So all of the sales that have happened in the month of in the quarter of the fourth quarter are sitting around 96%. Okay. And then if we go to the quarterly average sale price here, we could see that our average sale price is around 741,000, and the bottom of the market, which was in August, was around 748. So August, September, October, November. So we've had about 4 months of pretty much flat real estate market happening right now in terms of average sale price. And we can see that the peak to trough is 23.6%. So from the first quarter, the peak was the Q1 was the highest in terms of the peak of the market, which is around 970,000. On a monthly scale, it was $1 million, but quarterly data is a lot more accurate because there's more unit sales, because a specific month can only have 100 or 150 sales, where a quarter has 500-600 sales in it. So there's a lot more data to average out. So that's why I like looking at quarterly. The monthly is fun, and I think that's where the headline news gets a lot of its media attention, but really looking at quarterly is going to give you a lot better perspective. So we're peak to trough down about 24%. I feel like we are kind of in a stabilized area. Mortgage rate, interest rates aren't skyrocketing. They're kind of just inching up very slowly now. They're not just continually doing a 90-degree up. And hopefully with now the bond yields taking a bit of a relaxation, that should see hopefully fixed rates come down a bit. And again, that should continue stabilizing prices. As far as the inventory flow report goes, I just want to kind of show you where we're at and kind of show you here, this blue line here represents how many failed sales we have. And this orange line represents how many actual solds we have. And those two numbers together create this red line, which is total outflow. So if you're a seller on the market right now, the best advice I have for you is just to sit tight, because you can see that there's more outflow than there is inflow. And if there's a steady amount of outflow happening, eventually everything around you is either failing to sell or coming off the market or is being sold, which leaves limited options for buyers. If there's limited options for buyers, your home becomes the one they want to purchase. So it's not a bad time to hold the course, maybe give it till like mid-December. And if you want to take it home to enjoy the holidays, take it off the market to enjoy the holidays, try back again in 2023. Ideally, you're not trying to come back to the market when you're competing with absolutely everyone again that's going to be coming to the market in the springtime. If you're ready to sell, there's no point in waiting to the spring to compete with all the other listings that are going to be coming onto the market. So to give you a high level overview here, as you can see here, the failed sales have exceeded solds once, twice, and 3 times. And that's never happened in 10 years. And it happened 3 times here in 2023. Just super interesting. And I'll go through the numbers here because you'll see kind of like how the market's reacting to all the changes that have happened. We had a super hot market to begin the year and now a super cold market to end the year. It's a very unique year. Pretty interesting stuff. So we've had about 3,133 homes come to the market in 2022, which is just slightly above our averages. So actually supply to the market has been pretty stable. This is where it has been unstable. The sold homes are down almost 28% from last year. And based on our 5-year averages, the amount of units actually sold is down almost 19%. So we've sold 414 less homes this year than our 5-year averages. And we sold 732 less homes this year than last year, which is absolutely wild. But then where did all those homes go? Like, why don't we have more inventory? Why isn't the supply sky high? Well, look at the failed to sells. We've 1,115 homes have failed to sell this year, which is absolutely mind-blowing. That's 666 homes more failed to sell this year than last year. And that's 435 homes failed to sell more this year than our 5-year averages. So that's just absolutely insane. We got a 148% increase and then almost a 64% increase. Good news though, the supply side and the inventory side of things has been fixed because of this. Usually we were running at like 20, 30 homes per month on the hottest time of the year. And that's why homes were just getting gobbled up and the prices were going sky high. Here now, we've actually added still with the inflow and outflow, we've added 190 units to the market, which was desperately needed. As you can see here, that's represented by the gray lines. You can see that inventory levels are very suppressed. We finally caught back up. We actually were over our 5-year average. So as you can see, the bottom of the market was when we had peak inventory and peak fear in the market. So just remember that. So now that's kind of subsided and now the inventory levels are kind of getting back to normal. And now the flows are starting to normalize as well. And things are starting to flatten and normalize as well. So it feels like a good time to be in the market to negotiate for the buy side. And then if on the sell side, if you're willing to position yourself properly, you're going to get absorbed. Okay. So based on my analysis here, we currently have 192 homes on the market with our average inflow rate of 5.7 homes a day. In the next 30 days, that's going to be an additional 170 homes. So in the next 30 days, there's going to be about 362 homes to consume. And if no new homes come to the market and that's all that's left after 30 days, and we have an average sold rate of 3.2 homes a day, that means there's going to be about 266 homes remaining on the market after 30 days. So if that's all that's left and there's no new homes coming to the market, how long will it take to get rid of all the inventory? Well, at a clip of 3.2 homes per day, it takes about 2.11 months to essentially get rid of all the inventory. So why does that matter? Well, absorption rate is kind of an indicator of how hot or how cold or how balanced the market is. Usually around a 3, we're kind of in a balanced market territory. If we're closer to a 1 and under, like we were at the beginning of the year, that's hot zone. Essentially 2 to 3 is balanced, and then 3 plus is an extreme buyer market. So we're not in an extreme buyer market and we're not in an extreme seller market, kind of right in the middle right now. Okay. And just to finish off with my comparison report and just to kind of show you what I mean over the last, 10 years of tracking this, just looking at the outflow going above the inflow, and that's going to be the case again here as well. Outflow is exceeding inflow. So if you are someone that's sitting on the market and getting discouraged, well, homes are falling off the market all around you, and eventually you are the only option. And if a buyer needs to buy a property and you're an option available to them, then you might get a deal there. If you have any questions about how to position yourself properly, on kind of advice on getting a good net proceeds analysis and seeing if there's ways we can manipulate your net proceeds to help you achieve your goals on the next buy, especially navigating this tricky market, we're just a phone call away. Feel free to reach out to the Zahnd team. We're more than happy to help. I hope you found this valuable. And if you did like it, give it a share and feel free to leave a comment. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.